Throughout my 2 years of doing commentary, I've had moments where friends of mine turn out to just be complete assholes. People like Kirby, Bethany, Caterkiller, and more recently, anime maiden Sasuke Winchester and Allie. And I'm pretty sure you can guess who we're going to be talking about today. Now, here's the thing. I have defended Allie in the past. In fact, a few months ago on Christmas, I made a video dedicated to defending her and Wiz from allegations stemming from Kirby that the two had exhibited inappropriate behavior around me. But just like those before her, despite the fact that I stuck my neck out for her, Allie ended up fucking that whole thing up. Now, I have briefly covered her actions within the two Sasu videos and Nora in the Dark 12-2. The first Sasu video demonstrated her more two-faced nature as she chose to betray the person who defended her months prior in favor of someone who couldn't give any less of a damn about her. Oh, and what is this lovely post here? Well, as a result of the actions of people who happen to be associated with me, Allie, the woman I defended on Christmas from Kirby's grooming allegations, decides to turn against me. Why? I have zero idea. Maybe she's just feeling more bipolar than usual. Nora in the Dark 12-2 took a brief look at how one of Allie's mods chose to try and intimidate a 16-year-old over a simple joke in response to a comment of a arguably slightly more hurtful nature, and the most recent Sasu video brought up how that same moderator had, I think this clip should speak for itself. At least compared to what I was saying about people like Kirby, I was still going light on these people because I didn't want to hurt their feelings too badly. Because, guess what? There were things I could have said in the original video that would have gotten me fucking crucified. Not to mention the fact that I didn't bring up how one of you had a mod that supposedly ERP'd with a 16-year-old. Yeah, no, maybe go ask Xavier and Allie a few questions about what happened with Lina, instead of continuing to attack me for calling out your actions. Ah, lovely standards you have there, Allie. So now that I have dealt with Sasu, and have effectively silenced her for the time being, why not take a more in-depth look at Allie's server and what kind of things she lets slide in her own community? So grab a snack, grab a fucking Pepsi, and allow me to describe to you Allie's House of Horrors. My side of the story starts off on December 6, 2022, when Wist invited me to Allie's server, as the two were dating at the time. Given the fact that this video exists, it's safe to say that things didn't go so well. But before we get into all of that, let's start off with the first glaring issue I saw when I joined that server. Despite the fact that I was a minor, a fact that Allie knew very well, I was still able to view not safe for work chats. You'd think this would be simple to fix. Just go into the category or channel settings and set it so that certain members or roles can't access that specific channel, which is something I was able to figure out when I was 14 when I started up my own server, and yet a grown woman can't do the same? But I digress. I mean, it's not like there's been issues with minors viewing NSFW content in the server before, right? So, all goes well for the first few days. Until it didn't, because while in a VC with Allie and another server member named Moki, we were all tossing jokes back and forth, until the topic of height comes up. So I state my height, which at the time was about 5'9", to which Moki responds along the lines of, 5'9", I didn't know they stack shit that high, which is a line literally ripped verbatim from Full Metal Jacket, and I then respond with something along the lines of telling Moki I didn't know she could learn. And that's when Allie decides to get pissed off, and I just tell her it's a joke and tell her in her place. So, let me get this straight. When Moki's talking shit, it's all fun and games. But all of a sudden, I respond in a, I'd argue to be a less hurtful nature, and all of a sudden, I'm the bad guy. It's almost like there's a hint of hypocrisy here, but I digress. Anyways, cue Xavier, one of Allie's moderators, showing up in my DMs. Now, I could read off the screenshots right now, but I feel like it'd be funnier if I play this clip from Nora in the Dark. I'll let you know when to keep going.
We need to have a serious talk right now. What's with the jokes you pulled today?
What?
Were they jokes, or are you a misogynist?
Wow, you spelled misogynist wrong.
Misogynist.
Misogynist.
Yeah, I'm such a fucking misogynist.
No, you're a No, Nora, you're a misogynist.
A misogynist.
Yeah, keep
Do
going.
you want me to still read? All
Yeah,
right.
go ahead.
They were just jokes. What are you even referring to?
Let's just hope, because I sure as shit don't take no.
Misogynist.
Misogynist.
Misogynist here.
All right,
I'm
keep
watching
reading.
you, buddy.
I'm confused.
All right,
Okay,
give me a
next
second.
screenshot.
Let me pull up the next one. Let me pull up the next one on stream. Give me a second.
Okay, I got the next one ready.
I was told about some not so nice roast, especially about what you said to Moki.
Well, I did call Moki a penguin. That's
No, you
offensive.
said you didn't
I
know.
think I said
could
she was
learn.
penguin sized or some shit.
No, you
I
didn't.
love penguins.
No, you didn't. No, you said you didn't know she could learn. And mom? Question mark? Question mark?
Okay, so something that I would have said to literally anyone.
Which I have.
Yeah, but you don't say that to Moki. What you said to mom wasn't. Why you calling this motherfucker mom?
Okay, so let
That's a
me
little
say this.
creepy.
Let me clear up any misconceptions here. So
Uh-huh.
for some odd fucking reason, Allie and Xavier have this kind of mother-son shit going on. For some odd reason, where it's like I guess Xavier is Allie's kidlet. For the record, right? I've made the same kind of jokes with lists, but like we never took it to this fucking degree of like fatherless.
Yeah, but you don't say that to Moki, and what you said to mom wasn't cool. Know your place. Really care to explain that? I care about Allie, but if you pull the stunt again, you're gonna get it. I'm gonna cry to the owner, guys.
Oh no, I'm so scared.
Because I won't tolerate it next time. Bro, thinking Goku, you think you're gonna stop somebody.
Xavier, there's really not a way to properly convey this other than if it offended him. That wasn't my intention, but holy fuck, it was a joke, and those two are damn near twice my age.
Regardless of age, respect is still deserved by anyone.
Yeah,
We're
thank
at the
you
end.
for saying that. Like, I don't already treat them with any respect. Hey,
There we go. Okay, there we go.
Music to my ears. It's even funnier when you take into account the fact that Xavier at the time was 19 to 20. And as if that wasn't bad enough, I also had to deal with this kind of dumb shit on Christmas. So, for whatever dumb reason, I end up pissing off the mods again. I wish I had an archive of it, but for some reason Xavier deleted my messages not too long after it happened, meaning the whole story was left as a he said she said situation. So what is the first thing they do? Go to me directly? That'd require a spine, especially since Xavier apparently was torn a new one after the bullshit she pulled in my DMs a few days prior. And for some reason, these people don't want to risk hurting poor Allie's feelings. So anyways, Allie decides to message me and the conversation goes as such. You want it to be addressed, it was going to be addressed after the holidays, but clearly I need to have a fucking talk with my mods and start threatening demotions. Which, for the record, never happened. These mods remain in their position up until the day I was gone. I really am sorry you gotta deal with this shit now of all times, especially since it's, Christmas. If my mods didn't go over my fucking head. Here's the layout. The jokes are a wee bit offensive for some. Could you possibly tone it down just a wee bit? Insult Whist and me all you like, I don't care. Personally, I've grown used to the jokes/insults. But the others, it's sorta, what's the phrasing in English? Strikes a chord, I guess. You're a good kid, I can see that. I said let me handle it after the holidays, they don't listen. But please, yes madam, just try to tone it down a bit, okay? And I'm going to scream at them if it comes down to it, let me handle it. Thank you, and if a mod approaches you again, message me and I'll talk to you about whatever issue there is. Which will most likely never happen because they always go to Whist. For some reason, I really wonder why. I'll be talking about that with Whist here in a minute. Heck if I know. They actually do that with Xavier when she acts up with me. You ain't the only one. Yeah, well, I've only been hearing about me this past week, and I feel like I'm the only one. I'm clearly a menace. So, in case you people still want to frame me as this unreasonable cyberbully, this is me telling Allie directly that I'd do my best to tone it down. And not only that, I told her that her mods always went to Whist with their problems instead of going to me directly. But this wasn't good enough, because guess what? This shit happened again. Let's flash forward to the 28th. Allie messages me again. What's the big deal this time? Well, I made fun of members of Ali's server, these members being Uyghur and 2P Alistair. I wish I was joking here, but let's be honest, if you look at my OC, I'm not one to talk shit. So, unfunny jokes aside, let's get into the meat and potatoes of this specific conversation. I'm pulling them in for a meeting. I swear, this is like the second one this week. I'm going back to eating Burger King. Hun, can you please tone down on the jokes? Just please. Feel free to insult me and Whist. Ali, allow me to state this in the most honest way I possibly can. You don't care. I think I know you well enough to understand that. Well, that, and the fact that there's also not exactly a clear line I shouldn't cross. This is Ali herself being aware of the fact that I've stopped giving a shit. And this is also me telling her that her dumbass mods are being vague about where the line is when it comes to being made fun of. Do you see the problem here? These people are well aware of their own issues, they just choose not to fix them because it's a lot easier to push around a kid and have them fix the issues for you. I can help with that, because it seems like every joke I make has a tendency to offend at least one person. It's why I'm dragging their asses in for a meeting. So limits. Blueberries are off limits to the sasspots. I can already tell this is about to be some bullshit. Actually no, the bare minimum. You're saying there was going to be more to this shit. You asked to be spoken to directly, no? Ali, yes? Do you know how easy it is to make jokes with them, especially considering who I am? Sigh, please. Ali, if I'm allowed to joke about one thing but can't joke about another, wouldn't that be hypocritical, especially considering the shit I say about you-know-who? True. Again, this is Ali being aware of a blatant fucking issue within her own community. This is her agreeing with the fact that her own friends are being hypocritical by policing what I say about them, but not what I say about other people like Kirby. But no, Nora bad. And the conversation then ends with Ali again asking for a tone change, and then her acting like she's a martyr for owning a server since last May, and me telling her that continuing to try and keep someone like me on a leash only results in me not wanting to tone it down. What's next? Me getting timed out for making the same old spiky like a football joke I make towards all my short friends? God fucking damn it. What else at this point? Another instance of a server member talking shit followed by me throwing it back at them?
Listen, kid, I think you'd be more comfortable over at that place.
Weenie Hut Jr.
And now for the question that's all on your minds. What happened the day I was removed? Why was I removed even? Well, here's what happens. It's January 6th, and the usual happens. Nora pisses someone off, people get mad, people complain to someone else. And who do you think that someone else is? What has happened to you this time? I can fucking curse and swear and act like an asshole and I'm fucking thrilled by it, so nothing. Madam, I do that on a daily basis. That's not special in the slightest. I know you do. And yet you punish me for it. The hypocrisy. I have to own a fucking server, otherwise I wouldn't give a shit. Insult me all you like. Yes, you do. You also have to not give a shit if people act like a bunch of pussies. Cause why should you care if you don't care when I insult you? I don't know anymore, my brain is suffering from brain rot. Everyone in your server suffers from brain rot, why do you think I make fun of them so much? I know, then leave me to my business. Let them seethe, let them complain to me. I will tell them I don't give a fuck. I will accept the angry screeching, I'm used to it. Fucking A, I needed this. You're not taking me seriously, are you? No, because I needed laughter badly. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, the constantly depressed bootleg Alistair who wants to be taken seriously every 10 seconds doesn't take someone seriously when they raise a fair point. Als, like seriously though. You gotta remember that I, number one, don't give a shit if anyone's angry over a joke, and number two, they're a bunch of hypocrites because that's literally the same type of behavior that helped you motherfuckers out. Yeah, I know. So for the love of Alistair and his radio voice, leave me to vibe. And I can't thank you enough, you little shit. I don't like this much empathy, though. It turned into a fluff factory. Again, Ali is acknowledging that I don't give a fuck, and it's the exact same behavior that they praised because it benefited them. And what's this? Ali claiming that she didn't like how her server, that she has control of, with members that she let in, became a fluff factory. Despite the fact that she and Whist flirted openly on a regular basis. You know, if you want to lie to my face, you could at least try to not sound retarded while doing it. Anyways, I triggered them so badly I John Cena'd out of there. Mike Houdini, disappearing without a trace. I love them to bits, I do. The fluff and empathy was getting annoying. I'm thinking of redoing the mods and who's in charge because the squishy fluff is going to give me a hernia. This is what your precious Allie thinks of you when you're not around, ladies and gentlemen. While yes, there was a 99% chance this wasn't genuine and she was just trying to placate me, the fact that she chose these words to do so should probably ring a few alarms anyways. And that's how my story ends, but we've still got a few loose ends to clean up before we can move on. Because if you watch the Sasu videos, you might recognize my mentions of a certain hidden room within Allie's server. Yes, it is time to take a deeper dive into the hidden room. Now, while this most likely isn't a complete archive of it, because, again, I was removed from the server back in January, it's still enough to show the kind of things Allie's willing to let slide in private when it comes to talking about someone she dislikes. And that someone is Kirby. Now, this channel existed from December 15th, 2022, up until the point where I was no longer in the server, January 6th of 2023. Now, this channel contained the usual screenshots of Kirby's behavior at the time, such as the claims of DID, skeptical validating them, and whatever the fuck this is. Oh, and the fact that Allie reveals this little detail on how she supposedly gets her info on Kirby. So you know the basis of what we do for X. I work on their programs and add-ons. Gramps works in their computers, he's able to dox. What did he do? The contract I was in. X keeps an eye on Kirby while we continue to trying to live our lives. Provide updates and stuff. Right. Gramps, because of how much we were fighting on this, messages Kirby and goes, "Leave Twitter or I will give Spoken your real name and location." That's why he got yelled at. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, this is Allie admitting to being in a contract where apparently she gets people to dox Kirby. And not only that, she admits that one of her cohorts allegedly threatened Kirby with giving Spoken his dox. I feel like those are the details that you probably shouldn't disclose to other people. Oh, and remember those two members I made fun of earlier? They were in there too, saying shit like this. And the sad thing is, this is normal behavior. Take it from someone who was friends with him for too fucking long. Glad he removed skeptic. And yet, they're still hypersensitive when a child makes fun of them to, again, a lesser degree. Oh, and here's Uyghur, in all his fucking glory, saying how he would watch Kirby break down over the mention of his dead brother. Now, here's the thing. I will admit, I have made jokes now and then about other people's relatives. To my friends. And those jokes were never out of malice. This, however, is Uyghur fucking admitting that he wants to see Kirby break down. Something that practically borders on sociopathic behavior. And then, there's the screenshots from Curious Cat that we've all most likely seen before if you saw the Kirby video. And then there's Allie and Sasu spouting conspiracy about someone else. Absolutely sane behavior from grown adults. And because I know it's going to be brought up at some point or another, yes, I'm aware that Whis did the same thing. And now, let's introduce another surprise character in this shitty anime, Tex. How does he make this entrance? By treating Kirby like a fucking military threat.
Red spies in the base.
Red spies in the base?
Protect the briefcase.
We need to protect the briefcase.
Again, perfectly sane behavior. Hell, even I found it to be conspiratorial nonsense. And here's Sasu talking shit about Kirby. Rules for thee but not for me, right? And I will admit, I did make fun of Kirby's appearance in the hidden room. I will also admit that these motherfuckers cheered me on and made the same jokes. And oh, how this statement fucking aged like milk. By the way, I was asking questions throughout all of this. I wasn't just blindly following the shit Allie and Tex were saying. I was out here asking for proof. Could we see evidence that he's actually making shit up about Allie? Like, pretty please, twat waffle. And not only that, I pointed out how these are grown adults who are fully capable of calling out Kirby without going into contracts and spouting conspiratorial bullshit. Okay, if I may voice my opinions. You guys are grown adults, going into fucking contracts to expose an internet idiot. Like, y'all are capable of doing this without, signing your souls. Cause again, you guys have independent thought just like I do, and you do realize I've never had to sign a single contract since I've started helping you guys, so why should you? And as if this shit couldn't get bonkers enough, should I point out the fact that these people wanted to use someone as bait to see if anyone was leaking info? This is your leader, ladies and gentlemen. A nutcase more concerned with spouting conspiracies and their own paranoia than the ethical dilemma that comes with using one of your own friends as bait. Oh, and I think those of you who watched Sasugo Chapter 2 will recognize the screenshot that I showed both at the beginning of this video and at the end of that video, where Xavier admitted that she had at one point ERP'd with a, at the time, 16-year-old. She admitted it herself and that she was warned for doing so. She wasn't booted, just given a slap on the wrist. Yeah, Allie, the safety of victims is definitely your top priority. I sure hope there isn't a history of you disregarding said safety because your own ego got hurt. Son of a bitch! You thought I was the only one who had to deal with Allie's bullshit? Trust me, I'm not. Meet Lina, the 16-year-old I mentioned prior who had a weird experience with Xavier. And not only that, but I also found out that Lina had their fair share of shitty experiences in Allie's server. Now, I will give a bit of a disclaimer. Some of the things I'm going to mention here are going to be alleged because they're just anecdotes from Lina themselves. In a perfect world, I'd have evidence to show, but for now, just take this with a grain of salt. Now, Lina recently made a statement on Twitter that gave an insight into what happened during their time there, which I will read off here. Literally, these people are fucking pathetic, and since my name was mentioned, I feel like I should definitely elaborate on the situation since I never did much before. At the time before my 17th birthday, yes, Xavier did ERP with me. Allie, or her real name, whatever, she had a friend named Orion who attempted to do it as well. Xavier was 19, Orion was 30. FBI, open up! I have so much stacked evidence against these people and my own experience with Allie. I'd like to finally bring those to light, because I'm sick of these people not being held accountable for their own actions. Number 1, Allie is a two-faced bitch. She constantly would call me her child, say that she cared about me until I started to quote-unquote act out. Her meanings of acting out was not stopping a 19-year-old from having a temper tantrum in her Discord server. After I didn't stop this because apparently it was only my job, I was a mod in her server, along with Moki and a few others. We were all online, but I was given the fault for not stopping it. After that, she began to be very bitchy towards me, going as far as to exclude me from VCs, server activities, and talking shit about me in a small DM group they had, along with planning against me to unmod me, which is what they did back in November of 2022, and that's the last I ever saw of them. And number 2, gets mad at people for drawing art. She claimed to have been drawing since she was younger, which is normal. Everyone starts from a young age, but they don't go from high detailed art to, well, I'm gonna be blunt, very shitty bullshit. My art isn't the greatest, but hers was just... Yeah, no, some of this should sound familiar. Specifically the part about Allie being two-faced and treating the minors in her server like they were her own children until they did something that pissed Allie off. Because guess who else had to deal with that kind of treatment in Allie's server? And there's also an earlier statement from December, which I'll read here. I was nothing but loyal to these people, but apparently talking about some issues going on in your personal life is drama. When they talk about their personal life, it's the worst thing ever, and everyone runs to comfort them. It's pathetic, it's sad, it's embarrassing. She literally steals art and claims it as her own. I have solid evidence of that. Like, she acts as if she is this savior and perfect person, when in reality, she's just a miserable bitch who wants to suck others in and praise her because she knows she's a sack of shit. She suddenly started saying she has an Alistair personality and would talk with a knife emoji. It's pathetic. She claims to have 14 panic attacks a day. It's sad people take her side when there's a lot of voices speaking against her. She also talked about how her best friend saw her naked, talked about kinks. They always act so innocent and will do anything they can to come out on top and make themselves the victims. Come up with horrible god-awful lies. She is absolutely disgusting, and so is her posse. They act so high and mighty and act like they're innocent. They have done so much fucking shit, and they complain they don't want a court case. They are all literal fucking nasty bitches, all of them. They would talk sexually and voice or video calls in her Discord group. They would allow minors to be in NSFW talks. She would allow minors to see her NSFW photos. She allowed me to follow her on Twitter, and she followed back despite her account saying minors DNI. And yeah, about that last part, again, I can confirm that Allie did a shitty job at managing who could access those channels. Speaking of those channels, yeah. Also, this might not be important, but I'd like to point out the very concerning conversation going on here. And as if that wasn't bad enough, Allie and her gaggle of dumbasses would regularly get drunk, and as a result, they'd talk in the chats around minors while drunk. And do I even need to mention how you shouldn't be talking about shit like kinks in a server with minors in it? Gee, I wonder how this could get any worse. So let me get this straight. Making a joke about spiking a short person like a football isn't okay, but somehow making a joke about owning slaves is? This is what you allow in your server, Allie? This is where the line is drawn? Why am I even asking? Of course it fucking is. So, what's next? Well, we've got another case of Allie being paranoid as hell. According to Lina, someone had blackmailed the server, and the first person to be held under scrutiny was Lina, and as a result, this was the conversation that took place. The individuals with the lime green name in this Discord server are in danger of being kicked, so be quick and do something. Cyril Myers is not to return until spoken to by Lucy regarding her behavior. And I should announce this, and make sure people are certain. No Sai until she speaks to me. I do have to get an answer regarding the behavior. I do believe that is fair, no? Oh, fucking wonderful. And how could we forget how Allie threatened a fucking kid over a game of Dead by Daylight? 3. Allie is an asshole. I was playing a round of Dead by Daylight and I was playing Killer. I used Death Swinger, her favorite one. After the round, I was sent death threats which she found amusing, all because I used Death Swinger. You know, given the fact that Uyghur got away with a comment about Kirby's brother, it doesn't surprise me that Allie is willing to tell a kid to off themselves over someone whooping her ass in a video game with her favorite character. How could it possibly get any worse than that? Maybe when you add on the fact that when Lina announced they were taking a break, Allie found a good time to make it all about herself. And now we get to the part where I once again have to stress that I don't have screen caps for any of these specific events, so again, take it with a grain of salt. So, one event that I feel is noteworthy to mention is the incident that Allie mentioned where Xavier had a temper tantrum in the server, and Allie got mad at Lina for not dealing with it. Not the other adults, who are moderators and can handle the situation better, but a literal teenager is responsible for the feelings of a man-child. Then again, it isn't surprising when you consider the fact that Allie told me I wasn't allowed to make fun of 2 specific people because their feelings might get hurt. So, what does Allie decide to do when her lapdog doesn't obey orders? She casts a vote to have them unmodded for, again, not dealing with an adult having a tantrum. At this point, Allie, deal with your retarded kidlet yourself if you have a problem with how other people handle them. But that's most likely not gonna happen, considering all the other shit that Xavier got away with. Like trying to lie about the ERP incident by saying that the child in your server, who you knew was a child, apparently lied about their age, which is unlikely considering the fact that Allie had apparently made it clear they were a minor, but no, let's just throw the kid under the bus because taking responsibility is too fucking difficult. And this kind of behavior is typical for Allie, because she liked to make her own problems everyone else's problems, even when people were discussing their own issues. And if what I was told was to be believed, Allie had no problem telling her abuse story to people who would listen even while other people were venting. Do you people really still think that she cares about you? Because I'm pretty sure someone who cares about you wouldn't put their own struggles on a fucking pedestal like they've got a victim fetish. And they wouldn't try to excuse it by saying that they don't do emotions like the kids do, and they wouldn't guilt other people by saying they were over the top with their emotions. But yet, No one ever told her the same thing, because the second you tell her that her problem shouldn't take priorities over the struggles of other people, you might as well have screamed from the fucking rooftops that you had a death wish. Again, the safety of victims is her top priority, and yet I've managed to demonstrate her lack of regards for the two people she should have focused on protecting the most. But wait, there is one more thing I want to mention before we cap this whole thing off, and this one is a fucking doozy. I'll let my lovely boyfriend handle this one.
Hey everyone, it's Chase, and I'd like to thank Nora for welcoming me to his channel. As an artist of almost 10 years, I have a feeling I can rip apart Allie's art because, yeah, I've seen better. First of all, I want to point out that it's okay to be a beginner artist. What is not okay is to claim art that is better than yours in every way in order to compensate for your shitty talents and skills that makes it look like a first grader made it. Alright, now let's get into the art she actually made. First of all, the legs are too small. They don't bend correctly. They look stapled on like the paper pals from FNAF. At least the paper pals have legs that are proportionate to their bodies. Speaking of which, the body of Alistair is way too long. I get he's tall, but this is just ridiculous. I mean, it looks like she stretched him out with one of those taffy pullers. The arms are also different sizes, the hands are too small, the lines on everything are unconfident and shaky. I mean, she does know stabilizers are a thing, right? Also, the hair looks ugly as fuck on him. Next, the colors are fucking eye-bleeding. The pinks and purples clasp each other, especially since every single color is trying to beg for your attention. It reminds me of that god-awful Ibis Paint starter palette. Actually, now that I'm looking at it, she probably did use that. Last thing is the background and the props used in the picture. The swing's proportions are weird. It's very flat, so it looks like it's about to tip over and Alistair's gonna fall off. Also, the strings on the swings are literally bent. If Alistair was sitting on the swing, the strings would be completely straight because of the weight of Alistair. Next, those ribbons. That's not how gravity works. I can't even confidently say those are ribbons because of an atrocious pattern on it. Ribbons don't just float off into random directions because gravity exists. Okay, and that heart? Somehow the best thing in this photo, and even that's shit. The colors are eye-bleeding, and the lines are wonky as hell. What is the point of these dots? You want to be quirky? Special? And I love the finishing touches of the sparkle brush from Ibis Paint. And I'm sure it's Ibis Paint, because no one that shit at art is willing to pay the $9 for Procreate. And just to add a little cherry on top of this SpongeBob sundae, a little single star, which you clearly did not draw, is in the corner. For some reason. So I decided to draw this image myself to see if I could do any better. And look guys, I made this sketch in less than 10 minutes that already looks better than Allie's. Maybe you can trace it to actually make your art good, considering that it wouldn't be your first act of tracing. Imagine being so unconfident in your art that almost line for line you trace someone else's art. Although, I can't exactly blame you. Fuck off, Allie, and learn to take responsibility for your actions.
You know, it's getting harder and harder to even pretend to be surprised at this point, because let's face it, given what was shown in the Sasu videos, it should be blatantly obvious that this is how Allie is. Always willing to turn on people when they make even the slightest jab at her or her gaggle of band children. Always willing to allow her own moderators to get away with heinous shit, and always willing to pretend to be a victim because she can't take any responsibility like an adult. And should I also mention the fact that she and her friends also like to just throw Whist under the bus and have him deal with their shit, despite the fact that, as I mentioned in the last Sasu video, he fucking enabled their behavior? I've already brought up how they always complain to Whist about me because they think I listen to him, but maybe that doesn't spell it out for you already. Maybe I should bring up the fact that Allie stole money from Whist for a commission she never fucking delivered on because they split up, and Whist had to request a refund via PayPal to get his money back. Or maybe I should bring up how Sasu enjoys blaming Whist for pushing her to off herself, yet there's DMs where Whist tried to talk her down. You'd think that if Whist wanted Sasu dead, he'd have let her die. He wouldn't have tried to get her to calm down and get her to seek help. You people are all fucking pathetic. You are all in your late 20s to early 30s, and yet a 16-year-old is more capable of growing a fucking backbone than you are. The fact that you chose to talk shit in a hidden room on Discord, while I'm more willing to talk shit out in the open, should speak volumes. And don't think I'm going to let your server members off scot-free. Because not only did Uyghur fuck up by saying this about Kirby's brother, but the rest of you idiots also fucked up by letting this nutcase go unchecked while she allowed her precious kidlet to exhibit inappropriate behavior around a minor my age. Not to mention the fact that you all displayed the same amount of hypersensitivity that Allie did, since you got up in arms about a short person joke, but apparently were fine with me saying this about Skep. Second of all, I thought you didn't owe minors any ounce of safety, so either you're a hypocrite, or you're only doing this because you think I'm automatically going to trust a lolicon-defending paraphile freak of nature who associates with a piss gremlin. I'm gonna go with the latter on this one. At the end of the day, you people had a choice. Grow a spine and do the right thing, or continue to act like children. And instead of acting like the adults you claim to be, you chose to keep having tantrums because a child hurt your precious feelings. And as such, we've wound up here, with me holding you accountable because no one else will. At the end of the day, Allie, all of this is your fault. Yeah, hi, so this is post-editing Nora speaking. So, before we finish this off once and for all, I just want to bring up one thing that I forgot to mention in the video. So, from what I've seen, Kirby has apparently taken to using Allie as a source for evidence. What evidence would this be? DMs shared between Allie and Whist, where the two talked about violent things regarding Kirby. Now, while I will in no way condone this kind of behavior, I'm still going to point out the fact that it's hilarious that the same woman who had me defend her against Kirby is now taking to siding with Kirby because she has no other option. Just something to think about.